Just go for it!
I like the dark stuff. Give me the dark stuff. I like the dark stuff. Give me the dark stuff.
Hey everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host here at the Dark Stuff channel. Thanks a lot for checking out the new video. This is my first just video talking about records in kind of a long while. Just a solo video from me. This is kind of going to be basically a what's spinning and a couple of pickups and stuff, which I've been spinning quite a bit. And this will cover the last basically couple months. Filming this in July, on July 21st is when I'm actually recording this. But I haven't been to a record store since probably February. So my new music has been very limited, except for what I get from the radio show. So what I've been listening to is a lot of more deep dives into my collection that I've already had. On that note, let's start with something new that was really cool that I got. This is the new album from Diet Sig. Okay, it's called Do You Wonder About Me? It's the band's second album. They're from New York City. Now, you're probably saying, Dave, how could you have listened to it if it's still sealed? Well, yeah, I did get the CD, okay? Now, I got the record as a thank you from the band for playing it a lot on the radio, so they sent me this little note, hey, Dave, whatever, and thanking me from Alex and Noah. And they also sent a pair of socks that matches the artwork of the album. So that was kind of cute. I said something to them on Instagram, like took a picture of it all and said thank you for it and all that. And they actually commented back. So that was cool. So the new record is out, and it's 3 years since the previous Diet Sig record. It does sound pretty similar, I would say, to the other one. So there's not a lot of growth there necessarily in terms of their sound. My only complaint about it, honestly, is it's 24 minutes. And like I'm sorry, but that's an EP, and this should be. I mean, I don't know what people paid for it. Obviously, mine was free, but at the same time, I feel like this shouldn't be considered their second album. This should be the EP, and then the new album is coming soon, because 24 minutes is just not enough. Sorry. Okay, there's a new album out now from Phantom Planet. And I really dug those guys back in the early to mid 2000s. It's their first new music since 2008, when they broke up after their Wake Up the Dead, or Wake from the Dead. Anyways, their final album back in 08. And I really think that Phantom Planet's a great band, especially their self-titled album. That album's amazing. Every single song on it is good. So I've always had a really fond, opinion of them. I think they get a lot of shit because they did appeal to teenage girls or whatever, because the singer was like a former model. But like, I get that people are going to be haters, but I mean, I think you gotta get over it. At least listen to that self-titled album. This new one, it's good. It's just not great. I've listened to it all the way through twice, and I play it on my show a little bit. I like the harder edge sound of the self-titled album, and this does not have that. It's a little more on the poppy side.
Call me from a payphone. They still got payphones. It costs $1 a minute to tell me you're getting sober.
I've been really digging the new Phoebe Bridger's record. It's called Punisher. It's her second album. I've never heard the first one. I first heard of Phoebe Bridger's because of the Better Oblivion Community Center album that came out. It was either 2019 or 2018. And it was a collaboration that she does with Connor Oberst. It's a new band that they made. Carla Azar from Autolux plays drums on it. And that was really great, and I loved her sound and her contribution. This new album, it's called, like I said, it's called Punisher. It's folky indie rock, for sure. That's the basic sound. I think she has great lyrics. She does cool things with it. When she revs it up and gets a little faster or whatever, I tend to like it. I mean, my favorite songs were Kyoto, which is a pretty upbeat pop song, and I liked Garden Song, which isn't as upbeat, but it's still really, really good. And I think she's an amazing new talent. I'm going to go back and check out the first album now that I like the new one so much. And if we ever get to touring again, would like to definitely see her play live, no question. Run the Jewels put out a great new record called RTJ4. You're probably familiar with Run the Jewels by now. I don't really talk too much about rap on the show here because most of the rap I like is back in the 80s and early 90s, so it makes me sound like an old fucking guy. So it's like I don't want to catch that shit. So RTJ4 is really good. I like the songs The Ground Below. I like Ooh La La. I like Out of Sight, which has 2 Chainz on it. I'm gonna admit, I know the name 2 Chainz. I've never heard any of his music, but he's good on this track. The reason why I like Run the Jewels so much, I think, is because, first of all, Killer Mike is a great MC. He's a great lyricist. LP is also really good, but I really like Killer Mike. And I feel like musically, what they do is they do capture that 80s, late 80s, early 90s hip-hop vibe and that spirit, but they also have a very, very modern 2020 sound. They don't sound retro. It's not like you're going to hear just a simple drum machine and them rapping over it. I mean, it's more sophisticated production, but they have a healthy appreciation of the old school. They're not doing that mumble rap stuff. They're not, whatever the current trends in rap are, when you're talking about guys like Lil Uzi and some of these others, it's not that. Okay, and that's what I appreciate about it, because I'm just not down with too much of the new stuff. It just goes over my head. It's not for people my age, apparently. I don't know, but RTJ, Run the Jewels, absolutely fucking is. And the new album, I will say it peters out a little bit towards the end. I like it at the beginning, but it does peter out a little bit towards the end, I would say. Two of my all-time favorites are coming back with new stuff now, and I wouldn't even bother mentioning this because the records aren't out yet, but Elvis Costello and Bob Mould both have released 2 new songs in the last couple weeks. Bob Mould's second song, and both of them, their second songs within just a few days of me doing this. So Elvis Costello has these 2 new songs that he recorded in Helsinki at the beginning of the year, like in January or February or something. And they're so different from what his normal sound is. It's just unbelievable. And it's very, very good. It's super rhythmic and modern sounding and just like, just different.
Those are different days, those were different drugs. The gold plate battles with the half-ass flags. The jaw-climbed body that was full of slugs. She was trading favors for foot.
If you like the stuff he did with the Roots, you can get like a slight taste of it. But the Roots put their own sort of thing on it, and this is no Roots, and it's no imposters, it's no known musicians. It's just Elvis Costello being in an anonymous studio, just kind of doing new shit. The songs are called No Flag, which is really, really good, and then Hetty O'Hara Confidential. And I don't know for sure if he's putting out a new record with this stuff, but he's put out 2 songs real recently. They're both really good, both worth seeking out on like YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're looking. I don't know if it's been pressed onto anything. And then Bob Mould's new album will be out in September, but he's put these new songs, American Crisis, which you would believe he wrote it like last week, considering the state of things in America and how fucked up it is right now. But he actually wrote it last year, but it sounds super of the fucking moment. It is really good, super aggressive. It's the most aggro Bob has been in many, many years. The second song, called Forecast of Rain, is still really good, but it's more in that Bob Mould hard rock power pop sort of thing that he does, that he started doing with Sugar, and he's basically been doing most of his solo career. But 2 really promising songs, even though the new record doesn't come out till September. But man, I'm fucking super excited about it, is all I can say. Both Mould and Costello are kind of older artists, and so is the band Hum. They're a band from Illinois, I think the Champaign area maybe, or maybe from Chicago. Anyways, Illinois for sure. They haven't had a new album out in 22 years. They broke up in 1998. In the 90s, I always thought of them as kind of an American shoegaze band, because that's how they seemed to me. And I never heard their debut on Grass Records, but they signed to RCA. They did 2 records. You'd Prefer an Astronaut, I consider to be one of my favorite albums of the 90s. It's really, really good. Downward is Heavenward was their final album. And I never expected them to necessarily come back. They didn't have this massive audience that would be demanding their return. However, they are back, and the new album is fucking great. It's called Inlet. It's on the Polyvinyl label. And what they've done over the 22 years, I mean, since they've come back with this newer sound, they still sound a lot like Hum. But they also have the guitars are like chunkier and heavier than they were before. I was reading something, and they compared them to the Deftones, which I thought was sort of strange because most people think of the Deftones as metal, but they do have that atmospheric sort of bit, and they do have an influence from shoegaze. So I guess I could see it. So maybe if you've never heard Hum, but you are into the Deftones, you might want to try it. But the new record, it's only like 8 songs. They're all really long, pushing my limit for long songs, by the way. I mean, they really push it with a 9-minute track, but I'm gonna let them go. They've been gone for 22 years. Maybe they weren't aware of the rules. I'm not sure. Okay, well, the band Japan Droids have a brand new live album out called Massey Fucking Hall, and it is really, really good. It's a raw, real live album, not tinkered with in the studio. Japan Droids are a raw 2-piece garage rock band that over the years, the thing about the 2-piece band is it does get boring after a while. I mean, you can do some really inventive shit for a while. I think of Death from Above, 1979, Diet Sig, the Black Keys, although I kind of think they're pretty shitty now, but they started off, they were kind of cool. And a lot of Japan Droids, and I could think of a million others. But these 2-piece bands do get sort of worn out after a while because ultimately there's only so much you can do with just like a guitar and drums, or in the case of Death from Above, bass and drums. So most bands end up expanding the sound and bringing in other people, a la Black Keys, which kind of ruined them, but a lot of other bands have been forced to do it because you evolve or you die. But the Japan Droids so far haven't had to do that. They've made 4 or 5 records of really good garagey pop songs. This new album captures their full live effect. I've seen this band live. They are really good. They're just fucking constantly hammering it live. And I think this gives you a great picture. It could even be a great introduction to the band because with only 2 people, there's not a huge amount of difference between the studio versions and these live versions, other than the vocals are different. So if you want to start here, there's almost like a greatest hits of the band. So it's really, really excellent live album. I kind of was like, I don't know, Japan Droids, who are they? Like to have a live record all of a sudden. But no, it's good. You've heard me talk about Tao and the Get Down, Stay Down for years on the show. The new album is called Temple. It's really, really good. Tao Nguyen is this great pop songwriter. She mixes in a little folk, a little indie, a little alternative stuff from the 90s, all mashes it together, comes up with some great tunes. I really like the song Temple. I like Pure Cinema, Marauders, How Could I? Marrow is really good too, which I first thought was going to be a St. Vincent cover. It's not.
And what is it we fear most? The things that make us weak, the things that make us strong, the voices that begin to whisper. Only when we're alone, solitude is fast.
So apparently I've had this album from Shame called Songs of Praise for 2 years because it came out in 2018 and it was a promo for the radio show with this white sticker. But I don't remember ever getting it. I don't remember ever listening to it. And then one day, the song Lampoon came up on my shuffle. And I was like, whoa. Who the fuck is this? They were so good. They have this great British post-punk sound, a little Gang of Four, a little, a little bit of Wire, a little bit of Public Image, a little bit of, all sorts of bands from that late 70s, early 80s. That's obviously their big influence. But man, these guys do it so good, and they got great edgy, kind of hard guitar. I mean, I really like the song Lampoon that I mentioned, and another song called Friction. But man, I just completely overlooked this band, this album. I don't know if they're still even a working band. I mean, I looked on Spotify, and this was their only full-length album. So I don't know. I just got into it. It's Shame, Songs of Praise. I've been playing it a lot lately. It just kind of, that's why I love Shuffle. I mean, this is the vinyl community, and we all like the physical medium and playing records, and I do love playing records. But I also like having a digital version of everything so that I can just open up the iTunes player and just hit shuffle and just get turned on by all sorts of new, or just stuff I wasn't even thinking of that I was. I mean, I didn't even know I had this. I've had it for 2 years. That's insane. So, lately I've been really diving deep into ZZ Top, and they're a band I've liked ever since I was a kid. I grew up on rock radio in the 70s and 80s, and I heard a lot of ZZ Top back then. I was about 12 when Eliminator came out, so I was like transfixed by those videos with the girls and the red car and all that, and I loved the shit out of that record. I've never seen ZZ Top live, which is unfortunate because I feel like I really missed out based on the live records that I've heard and stuff like that. But so I don't have much on vinyl. I have here's Fandango, and here's an old 70s greatest hits that has all their, Just Got Paid, Francine, Waiting for the Bus, LaGrange, Heard It on the X. So that's a great, stuff. They're pre-Eliminator sort of stuff. As far as CDs, I do have Rio Grande Mud. I got Tres Hombres, and then El Loco, which I really remember hearing on the radio because Tube Snake Boogie and Party on the Patio were radio staples here in Omaha and Z92. Used to hear those constantly when I was like 10. And then, of course, you hear about the song Pearl Necklace. And as a kid, when you learn what that means, all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that song is great. It's so dirty or whatever. So, I don't know. It's a little strange now because who would actually do that? Last but not least, I have become borderline obsessed with Blue Oyster Cult. I've always kind of liked them. As a kid, I liked the hits. I liked Godzilla and Don't Fear the Reaper and Burning for You, that sort of thing. But I never delved that deep into it. And as I got older and got into college, high school and college, I got really into Mike Watt and the Minutemen and Firehose and whatever. And they used to always play Red and the Black by Blue Oyster Cult. And Mike Watt used to always talk about Blue Oyster Cult. And so I kind of gave them, a second look 20, 30 years ago. But, it never really stuck with me. It never really connected with me. I did like the Red and the Black, but then did I like it because Watt was playing it every night, or did I like it because I really liked it? I don't know. It's one of those questions you can't really answer. But over the last year or two, and especially over quarantine, I've been diving into all my Blue Oyster Cult records. I have this one, Club Ninja, which is actually not really a great album. It's kind of late 80s. The Revolution by Night. This one does have some great ones on there. It has Take Me Away, has Shooting Shark, Dragon Lady is good. So this one is still pretty good. I got Cultosaurus Erectus. This is more of a heavy record. Got Black Blade, Marshall Plan. This was their 1980 record when they did that tour with Black Sabbath, the Black and Blue tour. I got Mirrors. This one's pretty weak, actually. I mean, even the best song on here is like Doctor Music or whatever. I don't know. It's not that great. Blue Oyster, I'm not saying they're all golden. I do love this band now. Spectres. This one's excellent. It's got Godzilla on it, so that's the studio record that has it on there. Let's see what else I like on here. Death Valley Nights is really good. Going Through the Motions. I Love the Night. It's a really good one. Here's a live one from 78. Okay, this one's Some Enchanted Evening. And they cover the MC5 on this one, which is kind of cool. And then here's a live album from a couple years before, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. This is a double live album, and this is all the old school Blue Oyster Cult songs from the first couple records. And then here's Tyranny and Mutation. This is their second one, and it's got the Red and the Black. Seven Screaming Dizbusters is great. Hot Rails to Hell, OD'd on Life Itself. Bunch of fucking classics on here. So, I don't have every album, but I did go to Spotify and I made what I think is the best Blue Oyster Cult, like a 45 song mix of the best of Blue Oyster Cult. I'm gonna put a link below. It'll link to my Spotify mix. And you know, I think those are their best tunes. I didn't put every single hit on there, but most of them are on there because I only had a couple hits. But anyways, if you're on the fence about BOC and you're thinking like I was, that I kind of like them, give this playlist a chance, you know? Well, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I hope you dug this to some degree. I'm going to eventually get past my phobia of being in a retail store. Right now, I don't want to be in enclosed spaces with a lot of people, and I'm still not ready to go to a record store. And I also hear Amazon is shipping things in plastic bags, and everyone's getting these damaged records. So I'm going to have to brave it and get out to a record store pretty soon, because there are a couple of things that I really want to get, and that will probably be what I discuss in the next video. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Please leave a comment. Bye-bye.